Hi everybody, Adam Savage here in my cave. It is a absolutely gorgeous Thursday afternoon in San Francisco. The weather outside is sunny and it feels scrubbed clean in a way that feels really amazing. It's gorgeous outdoors over here in California. I am sorry if it is otherwise where you are. Hi, everybody. I'm starting this. I've done the last couple of live streams, just jumped right into the questions, but I have a show and tell for you today because, okay, I built something this week, and there's a thing I need to explain, which is that sometimes, sometimes, sometimes I build stuff without telling you about it. That's just a fact. Like, sometimes I build stuff and I don't film it. And it's because sometimes I just want the pleasure of just building. And I always feel guilty. I always feel a little bit guilty when a good build has happened, an organic build that I'm pleased with, and I didn't film it. But sometimes I have to do it that way. And that's what I did this week. I built something without putting any cameras on. I covered myself painting it and reassembling it, and today I'm going to do a show and tell. So let me show you the thing that I built. Well, actually, in order to show you the thing that I built, I need to show you why it needed building. And we're going to cut to another camera here, actually. So welders and tinkerers the world over will recognize this as an oxyacetylene cart. In the making of things, I frequently need to bring heat to an equation. And my primary way of bringing heat to an equation is using a little microtorch like this. If I need a little bit more heat, I use one of these. But if I need a hell of a lot of heat, and recently I was hardening some oil quench steel, I needed a lot of heat. I had to break out my oxyacetylene rig. And what that is, you've seen it in countless movies. It's a tall green tank and a short red tank. Tall one's full of oxygen, the bottom one's full of acetylene, and together you can get them incredibly hot and you can literally cut apart container ships with them. However, and this is the standard cart that they travel on the world over. And I hate this thing. It's fine for a big shop. It has several advantages for being in a big shop. One is these tanks are tall and ungainly. And if they fall over and their head snaps off, as I proved on Mythbusters, they become rockets and they'll go right through your wall. They're very dangerous things to have around in a shop. So this, you put them on here and then you secure them with the chain. And, you know, they're heavy. They weigh like over 100 pounds, I think, each. Maybe not each, but at any rate, like this is a very smart way to move around heavy things in a shop. But it's so freaking wide. And when I store it way in one part of my shop, I actually resist going through the motions to go get it because it's so laborious to like navigate this dumbness, frankly. Dumbness. It's not dumb for most shops, but for my shop, it's shite. So I've been thinking about a new design for an oxyacetylene cart. The problem is that my design was made out of wood, and it's not incredibly smart to make a flammable tool in a wooden cart. So I went and bought some. I thought that through, and I thought, well, if I paint it with fire retardant paint, so I did. I made myself a welding cart and I painted it in fire retardant paint, and the paint, I just used whatever latex I had, so it's a little weird. There's my new welding cart. I can't even tell you how happy I am with how this thing came out. I recognize that a whole bunch of you are going to have a whole bunch of issues around this. I'll address them one at a time. One is, how do you get those tanks out of it? Well, the answer is, yeah, to pull the acetylene tank, you literally have to pull it straight up, which is a bit of a pain in the butt. I'm willing to do it since I'm the one who has these tanks refilled. The oxygen tank comes out. You just undo this clip and this opens up like this, and the oxygen tank comes out easily. I built in some storage. Now, this welding cart has this open-top storage, and what does that mean? That means this gets full of sawdust and steel grinding dust and everything. It's a catch-all for just garbage. And then when you've got to find something small, like you want to locate one of these tiny little tips for your little gun, that's hard to find. So I made covered storage so that it actually protects stuff. This is eventually going to house a much, the wider assortment of oxy cutting heads and heating heads. The primary output I use on this is this guy, this little jeweler's torch. And I love this thing. It has changed my whole life in terms of applying high amounts of heat to very precise and tiny locations. And I am only just learning how to use this and how to adjust it. But again, what I was noticing was every time I needed a little more heat than this would give me, I would kind of give up on a project or give up on that aspect of that project because I didn't want to walk 30 feet to the other end of my shop and spend 15 minutes pulling all the stuff out of the way. Also, frankly, while that is a nice, stable way to move around a couple of big tanks, I find it spooky because it's not the most stable thing. This is the most stable thing. I couldn't push these over if I was wearing a football uniform. This is really nice and stable. I am so happy with it. It's got like 5 or 6 coats of paint on it. I painted it forever yesterday. And now I have this cart with all the things. Got my little light igniter. Got the wrench that I need for it. Store the caps over here. Always move these with the caps on. Always move these with the caps on. Always move these with the caps on. And don't ever put them in your car. Please don't ever put them in your. Don't even put them in your pickup truck. There are so many ways to get into huge amounts of trouble with tanks like this. You have to proceed very cautiously. And I'm sure that a lot of folks watching this are going to have, again, like I said, issues with me using wood to hold on to an oxy cart, but I feel like I've threaded the needle in a proper fashion. Oh, right. I wanted to show you my favorite welding goggles for the oxy rig, which is this Fibre-Metal one, which comes down like this and back up like this. Oh, dude, can I tell you, when I discovered these, they changed my whole life because I hate welding goggles. I hate those standard ones that everyone makes their ecto goggles out of. I can't stand how they feel. They don't work on glasses. These work fabulously on glasses. I had to tune them a little bit, but yeah. I will try and get you a link for these. I think these are made by Fibre-Metal. Am I right about that? They are preciously devoid of a maker's mark. But when we put up this video, I'll figure out a link for those.
That's where they live, right down there, all happy.
There you go, my welding cart. And yes, I will eventually get around to learning how to weld with the oxyacetylene rig someday. Right now, I'm just learning how to heat stuff up with it. All right. Hey, everybody. That was fun. I can't even tell you, I'm so psyched to have that thing mobile and ready for use. And this is one of the questions someone asks is, how do you, later on in the questions, someone says, Steve W. said that he built a rolling cart for his 12-inch drill press and he feels a great deal of satisfaction every time he uses it. Is there anything that I built early on in my career that gave me that sense of satisfaction? Like, it's constant, absolutely. All the little things I have around here, the little tool holders that hold my die filer, the protective table for the top of my reference stone. Every time I use any of these things, I'm pleased. The little tabletop bandsaw that I built over COVID, I use that thing every single day, and every time I use it, I'm all like, that satisfaction is real and it lasts. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support us even further, you can by becoming a tested member. Details are, of course, below, but it includes all sorts of perks, and we're building them all the time. You get advanced word and behind-the-scenes photos of some of our projects. Questions, you get to ask direct questions during my live streams, and we have some members-only videos, including the Adam real-time series of unbroken, unedited shots of me working here in the shop. They are weirdly meditative. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one.